Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be focusing on the reproduction in vertebrates. This is part 1 of the video. Look out for the next video, which will be part 2. In today's video, I will be focusing on the following aspects: external fertilization, internal fertilization, ovipary, Ovovivipary, Vivipary, and the amniotic egg. Let us begin with external fertilization. External fertilization is when the sperm cell fertilizes the egg cell outside the female's body. Physical contact is not necessary. Water is required to prevent eggs from drying out, as well as allowing the sperm to swim towards the egg. Examples are frogs, starfish, and trout. A disadvantage would be that large amounts of sperm may not reach the egg cells. Organisms produce large amounts of sperm to ensure at least some reach the egg cell is another disadvantage. Now let us move on to internal fertilization. Internal fertilization is when the male deposits his sperm cells inside the female and fertilization occurs. It allows terrestrial animals to produce in a dry environment. Examples of these animals can be birds and mammals. Internal is more certain than external, therefore less quantity of sperm is produced. Now, let us move on to ovipary. Ovipary occurs when the eggs are laid and developed outside the mother's body. Eggs may have been fertilized internally before they have been laid, or they may be fertilized after they have been laid. Each egg hatches into a young animal. Examples of these animals can be snails and frogs. Snails are invertebrates and frogs are vertebrates. A disadvantage would be that the eggs may be preyed on by predators. The chance of this happening can be reduced if the parents protect the eggs. The next thing that I will be talking about is Ovovivipary. Ovovivipary occurs when the young develop from eggs that are fertilized internally and are retained within the mother's body after fertilization occurs. They obtain their nutrition from an egg yolk and not from the mother. The young hatch inside the mother's reproductive system and are born soon after. Examples of these animals are insects, fish, and reptiles. An advantage is that due to internal fertilization, there is a greater chance of an offspring being produced. They are already well developed when they are born and are less prone to being eaten by predators. Let us move on to discussing Vivipary. Vivipary is when the young develop inside the uterus of the mother after the eggs are fertilized internally. The fertilized egg receives nutrients from the mother's blood through a placenta. When they are released outside the body, the young are active. Examples are mammals. An advantage would be that fertilization is internal, which increases the chances of an offspring being produced. The young are already developed when born and are less prone to being eaten, especially if parental care is provided. The last thing that I want to speak about is the amniotic egg. The amniotic egg. Here is a diagram that I've provided that shows you the inside of the amniotic egg. It is a characteristic of reptiles and birds. It is also covered by a shell. There are extra embryonic membranes, which you can see in the diagram, which are called the amnion, the chorion, allantois, and the yolk sac. The amnion encloses the amniotic cavity, which contains amniotic fluid and cushions the embryo against mechanical shock. The chorion allows oxygen and carbon dioxide to pass through the shell and embryo and vice versa. The allantois stores waste produced by the embryo. It functions in gaseous exchange as well. The yolk sac. It contains yolk, which serves as food for the embryo. Shells of the eggs of birds and reptiles reduce dehydration. It allows them to occupy a wider range of terrestrial habitat than amphibians can. Most mammals do not have an eggshell. The embryos are adapted to avoid dehydration by developing within the mother. That brings us to the end of the video today. Thank you all for watching. Credits of this presentation goes to SlidesGo. Please email me if you have any recommendations of any topics you would like to see me cover. You can comment down below if you have any questions on the content I've covered today. Please like this video if you've enjoyed and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more.